am in Noblesville, Indiana, at my friend's Christine's house, currently putting my Doc Martens on as I'm going out for some coffee and to get a shower chair for Jules' little seat in the shower, because the one I brought didn't work for us because I was hoping we would stay in hotels that had roll-in showers, and it's been a lot harder to get places with roll-in showers than I expected, and the chair's a little too big for regular tubs. It's a great chair. I know we're going to use it in Miami, but at least for this trip I need to get something else. And I'm going to get some coffee. I think I said that already. Changes in the air, literally and figuratively. It's a beautiful fall day here. Beautiful, gorgeous, incredible fall day. The trees look amazing. It's sunny, crisp. It's 53 degrees right now. It was really cold yesterday and overcast, but today is just like, really, really, really beautiful. This trip is representing a bigger transition for me than I expected. I was very much looking forward to this trip, and it's been incredible thus far. It definitely has had its share of challenges that we have been facing and moving through. We were expecting that. Nothing out of the ordinary, I think, from what we usually move through. But I realized, and this was on the drive up from Atlanta to Indiana, there was a moment, and there was a particular song in the playlist. Jules created a really great road trip playlist for us. And there was a particular song by a band called Young the Giant. I forget what the song was exactly. Once I hear it again, I'll remember. And as I was listening to that song, I had this quite beautifully metaphysical experience as I was driving and listening to the song and looking at the fall foliage and these beautiful roads. There was this very profound feeling of release that started to come over me and through me. It felt like bonds releasing. It felt like things untying. It's interesting because the visual cue, the visual images that I get from it are almost like ribbons being untied. Not so much ropes, but like ribbons, like fabric being untied and released from the front of like my chest and also the back of my heart. And it was an unexpected, again, very metaphysical kind of moment. It really felt like an experience. And even at the end of the song, I said to Jules, that felt like therapy. That felt like I just released a whole bunch that I wasn't expecting. And he said, well, that song is therapy. I was like, yeah. As the leaves fall off the trees around me, layers feel like they're falling. And what's interesting as well, as I, in the realm of as above, so below, which is the space I like to play in the space of where our humanity intersects with our divinity. And so that's why the metaphysical arts fascinate me. They transfix me, especially when I see the correlations with life. I was watching and reading up on Venus, the planet's current progression in the sky. Venus has this beautiful journey of around 18 months, where part of that time she is the morning star, and then the other half of that time she's the evening star. And right now she's in that transitionary period where for a small period of time she's in the underworld. You can't see her. October 22nd is when she does that shift. That's the date of that energetic shift. And then she will become an evening star, whereas she's been a morning star from January 8th of this year. It paralleled so much where I've been right now and how I've been feeling right now. I feel like there's a really big transition happening. And I had been feeling into this for some time. I've called it the butterfly gateway, this metamorphosis time. I've said it a few times and I keep repeating it because it just feels like worthy of it, of repeating. So personally, I'm feeling quite untethered. I'm feeling like I simply do not know what comes next. And I like to think that I'm always finding a sense of comfort in leaning into the unknown. And that's been a big marker for this year. I remember towards the end of 2021, feeling into 2022, like sitting, in meditation and feeling intuitively into what is the energy, what are the energy markers of 2022. And everything I kept feeling was, this is a year of into the unknown. And the way I work with information like that is that I'll kind of receive it, I'll trust it, and I trust it more and more. And still, even though I think I trust myself a lot with that stuff, I still surprise myself a lot with how I may not be trusting that as much as I think I am. And I think that's normal, because it's just a lot of it is in the realm of the unknown. So I was like, this is a year of into the unknown. And I feel like as I sit here mid-October in this very profound time of release, also before this new moon in Scorpio coming up in a few days, where there is this big turning point of this marker of release of what we've been holding on to. And what have I been holding on to that I've been, let's say, resistant to releasing, or not even knowing to the extent that I was holding on to it? I've been holding on to who I thought I was supposed to be. I've been holding on to deep-rooted expectations that I have been piling on myself for years. I've been holding on to ideals of who I thought I had to be in order to be worthy, in order to be productive, in order to be loved. I've been holding on to goals, even dreams that we pile on, we kind of pick up along the way, that are no longer relevant. And maybe they never were as relevant as I thought. And when I think about dreams, and when I think about my hopes, and when I think about how I want to emerge now in this kind of transition period of my life, as I'm, sitting here at 42 wondering what the heck is next, I don't know. I find myself going back to a lot of the foundational things of when I was young. And this is probably just part of the process of me really looking at and picking up the pieces of who am I really? Who am I really, and who was I before all this stuff was put on? What brings me the most joy? What makes me come alive? What makes my soul come alive? And how can I now use everything that I've learned and everything that I've grown into in service and in favor of my soul's calling and not my ego needs? Because the ego will keep us in a space of, am I being enough? Am I doing enough? Am I doing enough? The ego is the expectation. The ego is that, what will others think? How will others judge me? The people-pleasing, the let me put on a performance. And it's not a performance because I'm trying to fake anything. That's the distinction. And that's where I keep coming up against that line of being true and not performing my way through life. And when I say performing my way through life, again, it's not because I was consciously like, I'm gonna fake it and, pretend. It wasn't so much like that was the purpose, but that's what ends up happening. The masks we wear, the ways we contort ourselves, and in order to appeal to other people, in order to make other people feel like they can connect with us, or to, quite frankly, sometimes I spend so much energy trying to make other people feel better about themselves. So much energy trying to make other people feel better. And it's not because, and there's this thing where I love lighting people up. I love inspiring people. But there's a difference between that and doing it because, see, I don't even know. I mean, I'm just literally, I'm processing as I go. I've been doing a lot of processing over these past couple of days, trying to understand where this leads to next. And when I check in with my soul and my higher self and my guides and my, that when I go into those places to ask those questions, I keep getting what you need to shift right now is precisely the idea that you don't have to know, that you don't have to figure it out. Like I want to figure it out so that I can deconstruct it and then make it happen and move towards that and do the thing. And it feels like, and this is a big statement, but it feels like it's the first time in my life I'm in a much more raw place of I really do not know. I don't know. And also I was not expecting any of this. I was not expecting how my life would change and how it continues to change so rapidly. And I find myself trying to marry and bring all these pieces of myself together and have them coexist in some way. All these kind of, feels like different aspects of me. And I believe we're all very multidimensional. We're all, we have lots of aspects to us. So it's not about, oh, who are you in this one singular way. That doesn't. And I feel like I'm trying to bring these pieces together that maybe it's time for them to go. And there's a grief there, and there's a mourning there, and there's a sorrow around basically letting go and almost putting to rest and allowing certain aspects to die, to truly die. And these are things that I've been speaking into over the past few months. And now it's almost like they're coming to this peak moment. And I might be here for a little while. I don't know that it's like, oh, peak moment and then resolution. It doesn't work that way, especially when it comes to our spiritual deepening and understanding of who we are. It's like spirals. We go around the spirals, and a lot of that is really mirrored by the seasons of the year and where we are. And this is the time where we go into this dark, it's like this time of grief. It is this time of letting go. It is this time where nature turns. Nature just lets go in order to then renew. And it's cyclical, and it's beautifully cyclical. And the more we... And it's like, wow. You know what I'm tired of? I'm tired of rationalizing things. I'm tired of rationalizing with words. And I love words. I want to use words in different ways. I want to use words to weave stories. I want to use words. I don't want to rationalize things so much. I don't want to have to explain things so much. I want to honor words, and I want to honor stories in a whole new way. And I find that what I keep coming back to is, am I willing? Am I willing to not know? Am I willing to not have to figure it out? Am I willing to be so open and malleable? Like, be malleable enough. Like, have a sense of strength and be grounded, but also be malleable. It's like those roots that help you know who you are And then that trunk that keeps you steady, but then those branches that just sway and are flexible so that I don't break in the midst of the crazy storms. And the storms have been crazy. The storms have been crazy. My husband's health changes before us every day in front of my eyes. The care I give him and the ways I have to support his body physically, his emotions, and he's a very, very strong man. And he's going through something unfathomable for most people in the world. And then there's Skylar, who's going to be 6 in a couple days, literally a couple days. And they're my world. I've always said it feels like an honor to be on this path with my husband and my son. I feel really honored to have been chosen to walk it with him and them. I wouldn't change a thing. As brutally hard as it is and brutally painful, I wouldn't change a thing. And I'm coming into this space of finding a new definition of who I am. Redefining who I am. While still staying flexible and malleable. And you know what I keep bumping into also is how do I fit all the pieces of who I am into a package? And, you know, I'm lots of different things. And I change. And it's almost like I have all these different aspects of who I am. It's like having this, imagine a closet with all these outfits, but they're very different. There's there's all these different styles. And depending on the day and depending on my mood and depending on the cycle I'm in and depending on the time of year and depending on all these things, it's like that changes, that morphs. And how we allow ourselves to contain all of our pieces and welcome all of those pieces. And somehow make sense of all those pieces and how they come together. And I can sense that there are aspects of me that I have probably kept. Maybe aspects of me, what's coming up right now is aspects of me that I thought were too simple. Aspects of me that I thought people would think were too simple. People would laugh at. People would laugh at. That's interesting. Like I have not allowed myself to be seen fully. I know that. And then I'm like, what is it about other people seeing who we are? And the story's not perfect and it's not complete and it's actually changing much more dramatically before my eyes than I thought. And I keep trying to package it in some way that makes sense to whoever's out there. This sort of, what is that about? And I think it's a reflection of me trying to make sense of it myself. So, let's see what happens. I have no idea. I genuinely have no idea. I just know I'm going to keep going. One foot in front of the other. And just keep going and figuring it out. Because I have no friggin' clue. One of the things you never thought you'd be doing is buying a shower bench for your 38-year-old husband. These are the moments when I've got to breathe through it and know that it's about supporting him, right? And what he needs. These moments suck. Being honest. We already have one of these at home. But I need to get one because what we have doesn't really work right now and I want him to feel secure. So, yeah. I should have gotten one on Amazon. They were cheaper on Amazon. The little moments, you know. Also, just like I'm in the process of shedding some layers, my gel manicure has been shedding. So this is how I fixed it. That's not the only one. This one too. Check this out. Yep, that's how we roll. That was so nice. Adjusted here. My butt. Brisk. I love it. These places like this, you know, this is what I wish we had more of in Miami. Miami's so like new, and it has its history, it has its charm. Yes, and it's not like this. And there is a part of my soul that is old and loves brick and all these old things. So it's, you know,
oh, look at this for cleaning. It's water.
why is he wearing a helmet?
Because it came with that.
Oh.
And if you want to see his usual hair, here is his usual hair.
Ah, but it's
It came with a coffee cup too.